Nick.
Hello, welcome back to Nile Cruise. And we are still coming to you live from the Star Riders Hall, Rana, inside the NAT, the Center for Documentation of Cultural and Natural Heritage in the Smart Village in the 6th of October city. For over 5,000 years from the dawn of the pharaohs to the Islamic era, passing through both the Greco-Roman and the Coptic periods, Egyptian culture, of course, has evoked a sense of almost inexpressible awe. And we can, talk for, I think, Rana, for centuries.
Yes, of course, Muhammad,
about
exactly.
Egyptian heritage.
And Muhammad, by the 5th century BC, as the Greek historian Herodotus wrote, Egypt had more wonders in it than any other country in the world, of course Egypt, and provided for the world more works that defy description than any other place. And as we're still, like Muhammad just mentioned, at the Cult Net, we're still continuing our segments of Nile Cruise. Today we're very proud actually to be presenting this very special episode from this very special place at the Smart Village at the 6th of October from, of course, Egypt. And we have with us Amira Sedik. And Amira, of course, is a project director at the Center for the Documentation of Culture and Natural Heritage. A very good day, Amira, and we have the pleasure, of course, to have you with us in this very special episode of Nile Cruise to tell us more about this very special place.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Amira. The Pharaonic era is a particularly rich era. So what are the main aspects of the Egyptian pharaonic civilization that you have documented here at CultNet?
First of all, I have to welcome you at the Center of Documentation, and I think this is a very good opportunity to highlight the role of the center, which has, I think this is about 20 years of working here of documentation. Regarding the ancient Egyptian heritage, the civilization, and the aspect, there are it is a very wide,
story,
yes,
yeah.
A very long story. The main project that we are working, and I think we were pioneer in it, and still we are pioneer, was the archaeological map of Egypt. Every part in Egypt is ages about 6,000 years ago. So how many sites are here exactly in Egypt? This was the main questions that we have, because when we are speaking on the archaeological site, we didn't mention any number. We are talking about that we have a very big legacy. We have it's all of our talking is adjectives or adverbs, and we are not specified. Documentation is a part of the evaluation of the Egyptian civilizations. So now I think I can speak very accurate that we have about 1,414 archaeological sites in Egypt.
These are 1144.
Yes.
Okay.
1414. 1414.
1,000 again.
1,414 archaeological sites,
okay.
And all these archaeological sites are registered at the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities. So, and when we are talking about sites, we are talking about a very big areas. So we have many things include in each site. For example, we have complex, we have buildings, several kind of buildings, cemeteries, we have tombs, we have mastabas, we have pyramids, we have temples. So even we have churches, ancient basilicas, till even we have agora from the Greco-Roman period. The Egyptian civilization is a very long timelines of history. So you are talking about from even 3,400 BC till now. So it's very long period. This is one of the aspects of our civilization, just speaking about the areas. Right. So when we are digging on these areas, little by little, we have another project. The other project, for example, for the documentation of the crafts, the ancient Egyptian crafts. We have just two things that when we are going to the Egyptian Museum of Cairo first now, till we can enter to the gems, the Grand Egyptian Museum soon, you can find many collections which are the product of craftsmen, wooden collections, marble collections, stone collection from a very wild, very big kind of materials. You can find, for example, the funerary furnitures, for example, furniture chairs. You have to open your mind that the first one who invents that you can sit on a chair is an Egyptian. The first one who have things that we can make a table was an Egyptian. The first one who thinks that we can figure out because we have the furniture of, for example, Hatshepsut, the mother of King Cheops. We have the whole furniture of it. Even you have the chair is not a standard chair. He is specially made for her high and for her body. So even we have a very hygienic, you can say.
They were much taller and bigger back then. Yeah.
And even when we are thinking about how now we can give a certificate of quality control for the furniture, you have more than ISO 901 or 914 because you have a chair whose age is more than 4,000 or 6,000 years.
Beautiful.
This is the crafts. So I think a very important part of the Egyptian civilization is how this civilization have give us many quality of life for the humanity regarding the food, even how they making their food, how the Egyptian can eat, what was the ingredients of the Egyptian tables. For one of the very beautiful projects that we have work on it here is the documenting the culinary heritage of ancient Egyptians. Which one of it is that the Egyptians love their food cooking by or boiled or like barbecue, which is very now this is one of the main, very healthy. It was very healthy food. Even how they make about 300 kind of breads. And we have a kind of bread which was making just because some of them have, for example, they are a little bit depressed. So you have, especially when you are depressed, you have a special kind of bread that you can eat.
It's only normal because Egypt was the wheat basket of the world, wasn't
yes,
it? Yeah,
yes. So the aspect of the Egyptian civilization are, we have done many projects on it. Like I have said, the three of them was the archaeological maps, the crafts, and the culinary documentation.
Amira, do you have researchers here at the center at the CultNet, and what are the facilities that you offer the researchers?
First of all, we have a very good researcher team. We have about 4. They are working here from. They are all graduated from the Faculty of Archaeology. They are all Egyptology, of course, and they are the main team who is working on those projects. But in the same time, I was very proud that during the last 3 or 4 years, we have a very good summer course dedicated for the student from the faculties of archaeology in Cairo or in Ain Shams, or even from the EUC faculty, the American university, and some of them were coming from El Fayoum. Some of them are coming even from the Upper Egypt faculty. They are coming here just to take a very long training for about 3 or 4 months on a heritage projects, because working on the field is completely different than the academic studies. So I think this was one of the wonderful projects that the Bibliotheca Alexandria have done for the youth, and I am very proud that most of them have found a real chance of working in the field. And they already told us here that this program have qualified them for having a better chance to work.
Amira, of course, in the post-Pharaonic era, there are so many civilizations that lived in Egypt, and we had so many eras. So I want to ask you personally, of the things that you've worked with, what impressed you the most in the post-Pharaonic era?
The post-Pharaonic era we are talking about the Greco-Roman perhaps, and your question is just coming in times, because my last study, I am Egyptologist. My last study was making a diploma in the Greco-Roman area, because we are talking about 900 years of Egyptian history. And I have to say that these 900 or 1,000 years are completely, are out of the spotlight of the Egyptian Egyptian timeline of history.
Unlike the Pharaonic or the Islamic.
Yes, because we are, we have, I can say that just the last part of the Greco-Roman era, which is the Coptic era, because the Coptic is a part from the Roman era. This is the only part that I can say that even it is, we have a little bit of spotlight on it. But the Greco-Roman is completely in the shadow. I have to say, for example, Al-Bahnasa or Oxyrhynchos or Al-Ashmonain in Al-Minya, we have a whole cities of Roman and Greco-Roman era. We have to more clarify.
So it's not just about Alexandria, because
not from Alexandria only. Everybody's talking about Alexandria. Of course, Alexandria was a cosmopolitan polis, but even in the Middle Egypt, we have a very unique heritage, especially in Oxyrhynchos and in Al-Ashmonain and Minya. This is very assets that we have to use it, and even I think this will bring, if we can make a development, it will be a very good in tourism and making a kind of a new tourism program itineraries that can catch many of people want to visit this.
Amira, does CultNet document Egyptian monuments found in international museums?
We have documented a whole website about the collection, the Egyptian collections, which are in other museums than the Egyptian Museum, and we have made a very one of the most successful website. We have a high traffic on it. Many people are consulting it because the database which are behind this website was very powerful. You can find even all the Egyptian collection in the main and the most famous museum, like Louvre, for example, British Museum, Metropolitan, Turin, Leiden, Leipzig.
Do you oversee the Egyptian Museum, or is there any collaboration between CultNet and the Egyptian Museum, or there's no relationship?
We have coordinated with the Egyptian Museum several times, and they are even we are a very good friend and co-worker together in a very successful project. One of them just it was on the anniversary, the 116th anniversary of the Egyptian Museum. They have, with Dr. Fathi Saleh, they have done the papyrus of Toya and Yoya, and we have made an application specially for this papyrus, which is one of the papyrus of the Book of the Dead, and it was an event which even the Ministry of Antiquity has inaugurated it, and this was a very good example of cooperation. Before that, we have one on the anniversary of 114, we done an exhibition for Salim Hassan. Dr. Salim Hassan is one of the pioneer Egyptian who has worked, is it the first one who worked in the excavation field, and the first Egyptian curators in the Museum of Cairo Museum. We have make an exhibition because we have the chance that we have the original, a very good part of his archives here in CultNet, and we are working on documenting his archives.
Yes. Amira, could you tell us about some of the difficulties that you face in your work, the things you want to overcome, the challenges that you face?
Okay, speaking about challenges, this is a very good part of the work, because when you face a challenge and you succeeded on it, so you have the feelings that you have made an achievement. One of them, working in the Egyptology is like working in like a crime scene investigation. You don't have the whole information in front of you, so you have to dig in different parts. We are now working on a project which is related to the relation between Egypt and its root in Africa. You know that during the ancient Egyptian history, we have a very good and powerful network with, we can say that even with many African countries. One of them is very famous, which is the Punt, and the expedition which Queen Hatshepsut have done to Punt. But this relation is not from only Hatshepsut, it is coming back since the 4th dynasty, even from Cheops. So we are making like a reconstruction of how the Egyptian makes this kind of trade between Egypt and Punt, which is
Somalia?
Will be Eritrea, not Somalia, and this is a part of the Eritrea and south of Sudan, and this is a part of the documentation. And I am very proud to say that we are working with a multidisciplinary team. We have the natural team working with us because they are working on specifying the species of fishes which were drawn in the Red Sea, and this was a very good case to know where are these particles, where is the Punt, or approximately where it is. And even we have specific, they have known many plants that was depicted in Hatshepsut temple. So this is one of the most challenges that we have
Amira,
done.
CultNet provides the facility to broadcast some live scenes from Egypt's monumental sites. What about this, and what is the motto behind this?
Bringing scene to life, I think when you ask this question, I have in front of my eyes we have done a very good collaboration with the British Museum. And I have to be proud that an Egyptian, like Bibliotheca of Alexandrina, have worked with the British Museum to bring not only scene to life for one of a piece which is depicted in British Museum, but also to make an application. The IT application was done by Egyptian. It was a very a fast door with a CV, a autobiography of Hatshepsut, and it is a huge wall which is about 6 meters by 8 meters, and we have made an application related when you on your mobile phone, when you are in front of the piece itself. With your mobile phone, you can read what is written, and it was like a CV. Hatshepsut have wrote like a CV saying, when I was a child, I was raised at the palace of the king. Then the king loved me so much, and he offered me to marry his daughter, and how he was the whole career path of him. And this was really bringing life to a scene, because you can, when you are seated, and the whole text were even singed with the whole opera, and it was very very amazing projection.
Amira, if anyone wants a means of enhancing employment in Egypt, and as a wonderful image that we're watching or interviewing now like you, if anybody wants to be part of this or work with you, how can this be possible?
We make like an announcement by the beginning of May of volunteering. Of course, they can come in as volunteering on the social media, and we have a whole program for 3 or 4 months, so he can come, and I think this is a very good program, so anybody can join us. We are even the last year we have about 40 persons who came, and we accepted them all without making any differentiation, because one of the main target of Bibliotheca Alexandria and the CultNet, of course, is disseminating the knowledge and enhancing use, and bringing for them a little bit of hope that we can work together and bring hope. Yeah.
Amira, of course, we thank you so much for joining us in today's episode of Nile Cruise. And from this wonderful place like CultNet, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Muhammad,
so
what
much.
do we have?
We have
from Said Sawi,
a report from Said Sawi about songs performed for
Helmi Bak.
Right.